Howdy, folks. I'm gonna do my best to start posting videos from this point on. I'll just do the best I can. It's for entertainment and slightly educational purposes. I like to share my experience and whatnot, so here we go. Specifically about this car, I bought this car. I was the third owner on it for 20 something. I think I paid just under $22,000. You can't go wrong for $22,000. What, 4 or 5 years ago? I was the third owner. Never been in an accident. Well, as far as the Carfax go, but only thing I could tell that ever was busted was the bumper. Someone fixed that lip right there. I feel like someone went into a curb, because if you look under there on the back side of it, there's some someone did some work to it. But other than that, I can't point at anything else that was worked on this car. But anyways, a quick rundown. What exactly I wanted to talk about is how I bought this car. Did my own wrenching. I'm mechanically inclined, so I did my own maintenance. Did everything the way I understood to do it, and went from there. Ran good. Ran really good. I outran all the stock E55s that I could set up a race with. I outran a first stage E55. It was a good performing car. And then I screwed up, guys. I decided to mod this thing and I screwed up. And I'll tell you, this is primarily what the video is about. I screwed up on modding this thing, and it was pretty much because I was in a hurry. I'll make it as quick as possible. Last winter I got sick for 2 months, and a guy that owns 2 trucking companies, he can't sit at home for 2 months and just not do anything. So the guy that typically runs the company for me, my right hand man, he was doing everything well, and I was more or less getting bored at home. So I started ordering parts. I got me some long tube headers for this thing. Shoot, I don't know if you can see it or not. I wish if I could turn on the flash on this thing, but whatever. I'll do my best. You could sort of see it. The runner. But anyways, I ordered long tube headers, ordered a smaller pulley, ordered a intercooler. As you can see, this is the 3-time capacity, well, really close to 3 times the capacity of the stock one. I mean, you could tell if I have enough room here, you could tell it's not a stock intercooler. Ordered me obviously with the pulley, got me ECU tune, a TCU tune, got me a wrap kit. Well, I'm gonna pop this lid off, show you guys real quick. Here we go. So 77mm pulley, a wrap kit right there. You see how it wraps the belt, less slippage. And off I went, you know. Had a good time. As soon as I got out of bed, pretty much 2 months later, started wrenching on it. The headers took forever and whatnot. And then I set up a deal with my buddies to meet them mid-America. Well, Midwest of America. But anyways, Missouri. I'm out of Washington. I don't know if you guys know Spokane, but not too far off from Seattle, about 300 miles from Seattle. So anywho's, and time was gone, you know. I jumped back into work, you know how it is when you get back to work. Just didn't have enough time for this thing. I kept dragging it out, and then the time was coming, you know, the day was coming closer as I was supposed to meet up with my buddies with our cars. That was initially the deal. The guys that we grew up with, you know, back in the days when we were, I'm not old now, but, you know, when we were younger, you know, those teen years. So, started putting this thing together, and I started run out of time. Well, therefore, you know, you start hustling, and you start putting things together real quick. First thing I really screwed up on, if you see these 2 hose, or these aluminum hose, they go into, hose. They go into they're the supercharger cooler. That's what they are. So, what caught my eye is that I started getting really high intake air temps. I'd recover really good. You know, I'd recover really good, really quick, but I would climb really fast as well, and I just couldn't put a finger on it. So one day I decided to bleed the system one more time. And when I was bleeding the system, I had to pinch this, hold on a sec, I had to pinch this hose to get pressure here. And, you know, I did what I had to do, and And it was like epiphany, you know, an hour later, it's like, hey, that's wrong. When this setup was stock, I had to pinch this hose. Well, what I'm talking about, the rubber part of it, you know. I'm trying to show you here so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. To get pressure here. So when it was stock, the flow went like this, you know, and came back out. Well, Lord behold, when I was putting all this, you know, all this jam together, I screwed up on these two hoses. Really doesn't take much. So I was flowing the wrong direction in my cooler, and I lost about 30 to 40% of capacity, you know, for what it was designed for and what it could do. So that's why I was climbing real quick. Once I got that epiphany, so-called, I came back at it, and one day I just tore it apart, flipped it around, because of me messing with all these hoses down there. I don't know if you can see them or not. Here, let me show you guys. Oh, you still can't see them. There's just, you know, a few of these little hoses, rerouting them and stuff, because, you know, you got a little bit more here and there. You know, obviously I had to add this and whatnot, and I screwed up. You know, had them all wrong. So one day I flipped these hoses and worked my way down from here, because obviously I had a really long hose and then a really short one. So, you know, repositioned them down, and voila, I got that fixed. You know, and then, son of a gun, you know, this thing just bucks on shifts. It defuels. So first thing, it bucks under heavier lower end takeoffs, and it wasn't heavier. It was like this quarter throttle, more of a sprint to take off, and it'll buck right before it'll take off. So you'll be cruising along, you give it, you know, the quarter throttle, and then it'll buck, and then it'll freaking take off, you know. Or behold, one day we were thinking, me and my buddy, after I took him on a little cruise, you know, went out to the track. Track ended up to be a short day because not enough participants, so we went out for a cruise. And every time this thing shifts on higher end, it defuels. So I'm like, oh, that's the tune. He's like, no, that's not your tune. And so, out of curiosity, I'm like, man, I wonder if it's these little stinking little vacuum hoses, you know, not just these, you know, this one or that one, or maybe something to do with these, something to do with vacuum, because I'm bucking right before I'm supposed to take off, and then I'm defueling, so something's wrong. Well, Lord behold, I pull this little sucker off, and on the back side of it, just like here, it was completely torn. So went out, spent $20 or whatever it is, got me this piece, got me a few of these, or a couple of these 90s, and voila, doesn't buck. Still have the problem at bucking at 25. I don't know why it does. Much rarely, you know, it's a much lighter buck, but, you know, the whole defueling and bucking every single time I go from rolling to quarter throttle went away, simply because of this little stinking little Y piece. So I got that out of the way. And then this thing just wouldn't run smooth. It wouldn't. It's not like the engine was all, you know, shaking and stuff. It just, because I'm mechanically inclined, I just understand something's not right, guys. Just something wasn't right with it. Therefore, I went out and I pulled the plugs. Changed out the plugs. These plugs are good for 100,000. Bullcrap, guys. I had those plugs in ever since I bought the car. I bought the car, mechanically inclined guy. Any mechanically inclined guy doesn't trust anybody for nothing. So he went out and, like I did, and changed all the fluids. Well, I changed the plugs too, so that's 40,000 miles ago. At 60,000, I did the plugs, and now I'm at 103 now when I'm making this video. But right after 100, I changed the plugs. At 40,000, those plugs are well worn. So at this point, I'm going to try 30, might even go down to 20. So, heads up. But that's my experience. Going back to the way this thing idles, you know, I wasn't happy with it. And I was running the 4th or 5th tune for my tuner, because he was always just trying to perfect stuff. My last tune was given to me on a dyno, so it was a perfected tune, quote unquote, perfected tune. And he added a little bit more timing, like half a degree, and added me more fuel. Because by that time I looped my fuel rail. I don't know if you can see it or not. That's usually, you know, your cap on your fuel system right there. And on mine, you know, the guy welded in, freaking $400, but welded in these, you can see how they're welded in. Welded in these threads, and one could just loop it. Well, it gave me more fuel, and as I said, I just didn't like the way this thing ran. It just if any of you have experience with a tuned diesel, once you turn up that diesel, it just doesn't idle as smooth anymore. It just has that, just has that harder exhaust sound, has that harder hit on the pistons. So one day, I said, rewind the tape. I really like the way that this car ran with the first tune I was given when I bought the pulley, 77mm clutch pulley. And I said, well, I'll just throw that on. In this garage, in this situation, I was waiting for my buddy to pull up on his M5 E60, and he was just taking his precious time, like, well, let me do this. 15 minutes later, this car's tuned. Well, I really like the way the car ran on that tune. It just runs smoother. It runs easier. That's the best way I could describe it. And, but it's quote-unquote lesser of a tune. So, I drove around a couple weeks. Well, last night, me and my buddies are out. You do the math, you do whatever you want to do, and if you ain't too slow, you understand what happens when a stage 2 supercharged E39 goes out, a E60 M5 goes out. Well, the E39 M5 stage 2 supercharged. You guys get the point. And then me, so don't have to put a whole lot of one-on-ones together to figure out what happened. And I'm like, right before we headed out, I'm like, hey, let me grab my laptop. Let me do this once and for all. And what I was aiming for is I really liked this tune that I had, the first tune, compared to my perfected tune. And I'm like, if I'm really barely gonna see a difference in the pulls, I'll just keep my lesser of a tune, and I just much rather run that tune. Well, guys, Lord behold, I don't know what my tuner did. I'm not gonna give his name out because I still haven't talked to him because he screwed up bad. On this lesser of a tune, on a stage 2, it's not 100% stage 2, but he has everything but his pulley for stage 2. He's coolers and everything. But anyways, same exact race. The difference is 3 to 4 car lengths difference. So the lesser of a tune pulls 3 to 4 car lengths more on that E39 supercharged, quote unquote, stage 2. Where the more refined dyno confirmed tune wasn't pulling anywhere as near as good. So that's my story, and that's how I freaking screwed up on this car bad. So guys, when you do your modifications, take your time, and I mean take your time. It's gonna bite you in your ass. That's what happened to me. It bit me bad. Because I started getting frustrated with this car because it just didn't run right. It didn't pull as good as my expectations would be, Let me give you a quick rundown. That's it for the story, but let me give you a quick rundown what exactly I got done here. So my long tube headers are long tube headers. They're not shorties. They run all the way down, and about at the firewall, it's 4 to 2. Might even be 4 to... No, it's 4 to 1. Meaning 4 tubes come into one, and I got an X pipe back there, and then high flow cats. That's that. I love the system. I've done it myself. I'll do some sound videos one day. I think my buddy just showed up. Yeah, my E60 buddy just showed up. Anyways, so I'm gonna have to wrap up this video real quick. I did what I had to, and I love the sound. I had to cut my exhaust 4 times and whatnot, but I got the sound I wanted, and you know what? I'll come back to this later. Let me put this on pause. Well, boys, I'm back. 3 days later in a different city, but I'm gonna still finish that story I started. Anyways, I dropped off when my buddy showed up on his E60. Talking about the exhaust. I cut the exhaust 4 freaking times to get it where I wanted. My brother-in-law was like, yo, dude, just quit wasting time, spend the money, quit being cheap, and buy the exhaust you want. And I'm like, no, dude, you're really missing the point here. For me, it's a lot more hands-on, and I want to learn from this rather than just pay, a couple grand or whatever it is and get the exhaust. This car is, it's a very fun car, but it's cheap enough where you can screw with it. If you get a $100,000 car, yeah, once I buy that E63S like I want, the 2018, yeah, I ain't gonna be jerry rigging, lesson learning, grinding on my exhaust on that car. But this one's cheap enough so I can do it. That's why I really enjoy my car. Anyways, so Took me 4 times to get the exhaust to where I want it. I'll go back. The car's idling right now. It's hardly off from stock. There's nothing special. I don't know if you could hear how well the mic will pick it up, but it sounds good. Well, anyways, the beauty of this exhaust system is on a heavier foot, you know, heavier throttle, and that's where it roars good and it roars nice, and I'm very happy with it. Man, guys, it's hot out here. I want to talk and show you my car, but it ain't working out very well. Forget it. You're gonna have to look through my front windshield. Hang with me. Me and my stories, man. Here, let me hang this bad boy up. There you go. Let's go for a drive. Well, anywho's, I might delete that, might not. Who cares? Enjoy the video. Anywho's, once I got the exhaust down, I was very happy, and I still get a lot of compliments about it. My buddy on that E60 thought it was easy to fix up yourself an exhaust, so he cut all the resonators and the cats out, well, and the mufflers too, and he got quite the high-pitched sound. Of course, genius me, I gave him that idea, but I'm like, yo, you're gonna have to tamper with it. He really missed that part, but he's gonna have to mess with it to get it where he likes it. But anywho's, I think he got it where he liked it now. He ended up putting a total of 2 stock mufflers on and 2 resonators back on, so that's that. Now, as far as the rest of the car goes, you know, guys, it's probably gonna be the longest video I ever make on this channel, but I just want you guys to get a good idea what this channel is all about, and primarily this channel is gonna be about this car and my journey with it. But anyhow, I want you to know the up until now, the journey that I have taken with it. You know, earlier in the video I told you I bought it with 60,000 miles on it. It's right about there. Don't quote me on this. Either it was 60 or 62. I know there's some complication with that. Either it was advertised as 62 and it came with 60, or I think it was the other way around. I think he advertised it as 60 and I picked it up with 62. But who cares? Nevertheless, 60,000 miles. To me, it's really the same thing. I picked up the car. That's where my ownership started 4 years ago. I couldn't be happier. The journey was tough. It was rough. I ended up within 24 hours I blew my supercharger pulley, and I thought that was the end of my troubles. Nope, I was wrong. After blowing my supercharger pulley bearing, I ended up getting that, you know. I'll do, no, why won't I explain it in this video? When I just bought this car, you know, my close family and friends were like, dude, it's a freaking Mercedes. You're going to get bent over anytime something breaks on it. And they're partially right, if you don't know how to wrench on your own stuff. So, back to when I bought the car, 24 hours after bringing it home, my supercharger pulley bearing went out. Well, called Mercedes. Mercedes said $1,700 just for the pulley. Well, the pulley included the clutch and the bearing. I'm like, well, there's a snap ring in here. You just literally undo it, more or less tap it out, you know. Or if you have a small little press, you can press it out. Ain't no big deal. Like, nope, we're not going to sell you just the bearing. But, all right, I'll find it. So I did my searches, found the bearing, got it in. $50 later, in about an hour of my life, I had me a new bearing in there. I thought I was good, and sure as heck hit the freeway. I think I did 1, maybe 2 good pulls, and then this thing shut down. I don't know, probably 70-80% gone. So then I get back on the forum, start reading. It's the cooler. It's the cooler pump. Well, got a Johnson CM30, I believe. Got that installed. Couldn't be happier, and there off I went. You know, maintenance. as I said earlier in the video. Did all my fluids, did my spark plugs, did all I could for this car, and it was a really good car. You know, it hauled good, but once I modded it, it really screwed up for a good period of time. This thing was limping, and while it was limping, I went out to Missouri trying to drag race my buddies and have a good time, and this thing just wasn't having it. Anyway, so that's that. Now, as far as back to, I started off my journey with this car, and then I went into maintenance and how problematic it got the first 24 hours. Besides that, you know, this car really hasn't given me trouble. Besides the regular wear and tear you'd have on something like this, and I mean, as far as I went, you know, I rebuilt the whole front end, ball joints, bushings, and it sounds big, but it was an actual breeze, man. It wasn't nothing big. It was pretty easy. Did it in my own garage. Got everything, you know, got everything covered that I needed and got her done. I could not be happier. Should you or should you not buy an E55? Guys, the parts did not get cheaper. The cars did. So whatever you do, get out there, buy the best E55 you can. Meaning, you know, the best, as far as maintenance go, the best condition and everything. Just buy the best E55 you can. Haggle down the price as far as they'll drop it, and pick it up, because you are going to get right there, back up in that price range, if you buy a lesser expensive E55. Parts are so expensive, I still had to pay the price in some areas. Pretty worthless story. My fuel pumps didn't go out, but the lids cracked on them about 2 years ago, and I had to buy, you know, pay $1,100 for both of those. Lord behold, I got a recall done on the tank. Mercedes got their stuff together and decided to throw a recall back out. So Mercedes ended up replacing my tank and my fuel pumps, and reimbursed me for those $1,100 I spent 2 years ago. So, guys at Mercedes, you're getting your crap together. Congratulations, you are making me become a true believer in your product. You know, for a good time, Mercedes was, well, Mercedes started out well, you know, and then for a good while, for a good time, they're just cheaping out and doing stupid stuff, you know. That Integra, them homeboys. Anyways, but now, as far as their product goes, I don't know, but I'll tell you what, their service is getting a whole lot better, and they're owning up to their own jam. So anyways, that's that. I think I'm gonna wrap up my video. This is a very brief, scattered type of video, and then we'll start narrowing down. You know, we got a lot to talk about, but I'll leave it at this. Guys, I appreciate you for your time, and for you guys that watched it all the way to the end, thank you. I appreciate for the support, and I'm gonna make more videos, and I'm gonna do my best as far as making them more professional. I know they're very Jane plain, but hey, if you're out there and you want to know something about an E55, or you want to find out more info about an E55, you know, this would be a good route. You know, keep an eye on my channel, and I'll do whatever I can to keep you guys posted. All right, have a mighty fine day.